So, welcome to this vMix tutorial for Christchurch, Norris Green. So, um, when you get in, I'm hoping you've already set up the cables. I'll have to do a different video for that. But we get to the software, we go to the vMix down at the bottom here, just left click once and it loads up. And then you can see you can click open just here. And then in the documents folder, we've got vMix services, and for each service, well, for what I've got here is for this coming Sunday, we've got the formal morning prayer for October the 18th. Then we've got the informal service, morning prayer, October the 18th. So we've got a formal and an informal morning prayer. The old services, I'm just dumping in here. So we've had the launch service and the first Sunday. So that's in my archive folder. And what I'm doing as well, I'm selecting both those folders and I've copied them to the current Sunday's backup. And then I've also got this camera and sound test set up just in there. So you'll come into this folder and you're going to open up one of these services, go into the folder and double click, and you get this. All of these things are ticked. And we should be able to just click open. And when you click open, it just starts loading all of those resources in the background. Now you can see we've got no signal from the video camera. That's because I've not got everything plugged in and set up. So just to go through some quick first checks that you'll need to do, we just go through and check we've got our songs at the start. So first of all, we've got this tab that says all. Then if you just want to see the songs at the start, or the main body of the service is in here, and then the songs at the end. And in fact, oh, it's not saved something in there, or did I not drop it in yet? Final prayer, goodbye, that's offline, but it should be, oh no, it should be there. And that's missing from in the service. That's what I was noticing. So I've just dragged this goodbye CCNG, goodbye from Christchurch, Norris Green, into the service. So I'll go through how you set up a service in another tutorial, but this is basically just how to set up and how to run the service. So we're just going through, we're checking in all the resources, or maybe just the service if you're just looking at a particular part, but I'll go through all. This hasn't flagged that it's offline, neither's this one hasn't, this one's hasn't either, this one hasn't, this one hasn't, that hasn't, that hasn't, that hasn't, that hasn't. This one says it's offline though, the goodbye that we've moved somewhere else into this service section. So you right click and you click on reset, and it reloads it again. And so you can see the PowerPoint slide there. What will have happened if something hasn't loaded as well? It won't be in the playlist. So you go to the cog, the settings playlist cog, and then we just go through and double check all of this. So we've got the welcome, then the songs, going to the welcome. And then from now on, there's the camera in between every other thing. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is missing, and that should be, so it goes camera to do our final notices, goodbyes from the video camera. Then we go to our songs so that people can walk out, and we can leave those playing in the background. And then it should be this goodbye Christchurch. So we just have to add that in at the end. So I've selected where it's going to go underneath. I've selected what I want to add in, and I just click on this right arrow here. Left click on the right arrow, and we get it there. So we can close that a moment, and we'd be ready to run the service. I'd be or nearly ready to. It doesn't really matter if you click save at this point, because for whatever reason, we'll just check we are in the formal. formal service, formal service. Just click on save. We want to replace it. That's okay. Yes. So for some reason it glitches and it doesn't always load particular resources. For it could be any resource it doesn't quite load, and it also doesn't. If the resource hasn't loaded in the playlist, it will be missing, so it'll have to be added in there. So they're the two significant checks to do before we commit to launching the service. When you're ready to launch the service, you're probably already in full screen so that it can be seen. That full screen then sends, let's just, it'd send our welcome page over to the TVs, and then this live window here is what also will be streamed to YouTube. So we just double check that it's in full screen mode, because we want to see what's being streamed to YouTube. We also want to see it in the cabin. Then would be opening up the Chrome browser. Let me drag the Chrome browser over here so you can see. Open up the Chrome browser, click on live streaming. Should already be logged in as Christchurch Norris Green. If it isn't, you'd need the password from Helen to log into Google, the Gmail account for Christchurch Norris Green L11 3BR. And then we'd click on this shortcut to bring this page up. So we just move that out of the way, and we click on the record button. We click on the stream button. You go back to this feed to check, so that you can see this is going live. You'll notice it's got, you could edit this title of the video. You can edit to make sure it's public. If it was unlisted, if we've been running some checks midweek, really I should probably unlist this video. And you can select people and blogs if it isn't already, and any other features there. We just click save. I'm just going to end the stream at this point here, because even though, I'll leave it running, because it's not going to do too much if it's unlisted. It's a good test anyway to see that we're getting some feed through. So once you've clicked, once you've used Chrome, brought up YouTube, make sure that you've clicked on the shortcut here for live streaming. I imagine I've just knackered that up. It's reloaded, or it's, oh no, it's still holding it. Oopsie daisy. You click on record, you click on stream, you go back, check that's running, and then we just click on playlist here, and it automatically jumped to the start of the playlist. And so if I show you the playlist here, we can see what's coming next. So that when I click the down arrow key, you can see it moves to the songs. Left or right arrow moves along to the next item. And so if it's a PowerPoint as well, we're at the end of that, we'll go down again, go down. So that will be the camera feed. So this PowerPoint here, I'll just move this slightly. It's got two slides, so you can see if we go left, it goes to our second slide. So you can see the number here. If I go to the right, oh, sorry, to the left again, I'm doing this back to front. If we go to the right, it goes to the next slide. If we go left arrow, it goes to the previous slide. So if for some reason you hadn't noticed an issue in the running order in the playlist, and it's the playlist is running, you're streaming already, and you think, oh dear, I've missed something. You might want to wait till you get to, or just click on next, till you're on a screen that's going to stay on for a moment or two. Just remember it's which one it is, because we're going to need to click to go back to it, and say straight after this we had forgotten to put this slide in. We can't just get it in while the playlist is running, so we have to stop the playlist, just double check where we're going to pop it underneath, select it here, right click it across, so we've got the final prayer after this, but we want to keep on this particular input or output, or however you're supposed to call it, and then we click here the checkbox that says begin from selected item. Make sure it's still in manual mode because we're navigating manually with the arrow keys, and then we just click start, and it starts from the point that we've selected here. So now when I click down, it goes to this final prayer slide instead of to the psalm, because we've added that in. If there was something in that shouldn't be there, for instance, it's just very much the same. This is where we're at. Oh no, that shouldn't be there. I'm going to stop the playlist a moment. I'm going to select what I don't want to be there, left arrow it out of the running order, and then remembering where I was on this one, make sure that this is ticked still, and then click on start once more. And so no one's seen what's happened in the background. We've stayed on the live camera feed, and that's crisis averted. If for some reason it did go, you stopped the playlist running by clicking on this playlist button to take it out of running, and you think, oh no, because I needed to be go into the offertory prayer, and I've quick played at the offertory prayer, and I'm navigating through that with my arrow keys to the right. I know I'm going to get to the end of the offertory prayer, and I need to go to the camera. I'm going to scroll down to the camera, select it, and then I can either quick play down here, or I could have quick played up here and it would have brought it across. Now I'm going to try and get back into the playlist to make life easy for me, so I don't have to think of where I'm up to. So we've just done the offertory prayer. I'm going to open up the settings cog. Where's the offertory prayer? So we're on this camera at the moment. I'm going to click on begin from selected item, and I'm going to click start. And so again, we've just picked up in the playlist from here. So the next thing in running order is the reading. So we're ready to go. Okay, down arrow, because my playlist has activated my shortcuts. Got to the reading. Someone's come up to the lectern, is reading from the Bible, and then we're just right arrow through all of this. Right arrow on your keyboard through all of this. Then the down arrow to get to our camera again. So in between, as I said, in between every screen, I try and put the camera, so the cameras appear in between all of these feeds in case we're doing segues and things. So that's some of the common issues that I've noticed already. That's how to overcome them. And then at the end of the service, you'd just be saying, right, we'll go to our, I'll just jump ahead, watching here. So you could click next, next, next. You could do it all through, or most of it through here, other than when you need to, I suppose you could do that, but then you've got to click on settings again. So we're just going to stop this, and let's just tick this again, select this and click on songs. So the songs are running in the background. They'd finish, although they don't finish, they actually just loop. So when we were ready to stop recording and to stop the stream, we just down arrow to say thanks for joining us for today's service. So we've got a nice end to the service as well, a clear end. So we've had a clear beginning with the welcome, and we have a clear end. If there was a crisis in the service, I've got this card here: service temporarily suspended, we'll be back soon. For instance, there's an emergency and we all evacuated the building. You might just say, oh, rather than leave the camera feed live, I'm just going to click on quick play and bring that on the screen. So that's about, so we'd be at the end of the service, we said, didn't we? Click on quick play here. End of the service, and then you just want to stop your stream by left clicking on here, stop streaming, yes please. And then I don't want to record anymore. We record as a backup, so you left click here, stop recording, yes. And then you can just go here and we'll notice in a moment there's a buffer, there's a time delay between us recording and it getting uploaded to the internet, and you can see now this is kicked us out. You can either wait till this finishes all of, well, it's probably best to wait till that finishes. It's figuring out, it's going to come up with a message in a moment, or it should do. If it doesn't and you can't be bothered waiting, or it doesn't seem to be, maybe is it buffering in the background? Is there a delay? It looks to be at the end, so we can just click end stream here. Are you sure you want to end your stream? If you clicked it by accident, you click not yet, but we want to end that little test. It was, and then you can edit in studio or dismiss, or literally just close this window now that the service has finished. And then you could just click on close here. Are you sure you want to close vMix? You might click, oh no, I forgot to save. So let's click on save and double check this was the formal service. So it says formal up here and the 18th. So we're in the right folder, we're in the right file. We'll just save that. Yeah. So we're going to close this. Are you sure you want to close vMix? Yes. Let me show you. If we open up the File Explorer and go to Documents, you can see vMix storage. This is where it saves the files, so it dates them. So 15th today at 1:30. So if we needed to use that, this would be the important file to upload to YouTube. I'm just going to back and go to here, and we were in our formal one. So I'm going to open this again to just show you we corrected the service. I think it's going to have some issues again. So we're just going to run through those checks. We've opened it a different way. You can see this is the last screen that we left it on. The goodbye, oh no, it was the goodbye, wasn't it? And the goodbye is blank because it's offline. But let's just go through. That looks okay. There's no offline, no offline. This all looks good. The Lord's Prayer's offline this time. So we just right click and click reset. Go along. So that was 8, 9. Songs end and number 10. That's offline. So right click, reset. And then we can see we've got the camera and the sound there, and we've got our emergency services suspended. So we're just going to go to our playlist again, configure, and we can see we've got our welcome screen, the start songs at the start, going back to our welcome screen, camera. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Number 8 is missing because it was the Lord's Prayer. So if we left click here, left click the Lord's Prayer and right click on that right arrow. So we've got 7, 8, 9, and then at the end we're missing 10, the goodbye. So I've selected this here, select the goodbye that I want to chuck in, right click, and it drops in underneath the one that I just had selected. And we close that. So that when I click playlist, in theory this is going to run, and I'm just going to go through down arrow, and I'm just getting to a PowerPoint that's got more than one slide. So we can see that starts on slide 1. So I'll go to slide 2, down, 1, 2, 3, 4, down, 1, 2, 3, 4, down, 1, 2, 3, 4, down, 1, 2, 3, and down, 1, 2, 3, 4, and down, 1, 2, 3, and down. Oops, up again. Accidentally click twice on down. 1, 2, 3, and down again, and down. Final songs, and down. I'm just going to save this now and see if we've got any issue with the playlist starting PowerPoints midway through or at the end where we've left them. So that's why I've saved it now. So I'm going to just, again, close this. Are you sure you want to close? Yes. And I'm going to left click on vMix because this is probably what you'll do. Click on open. So you could go to documents here, vMix services if it was in a different folder, and just double check. Yeah, I want to open the formal service. Yes, open. All of those are ticked. It's strange because it knows the address of all of these. It knows where they're stored, and yet it just, it's got it listed here. Goodbye, and then we have the Lord's Prayer just now. Goodbye and the Lord's Prayer. That for some reason it didn't open. It glitched. So it's strange because I don't know if it's because we're using a trial version and they'll update it. It could be to do with that. But I know that 3 years ago I've seen a post and someone else has had the same issues. And I think when it goes, look, that's offline again there. When it goes offline, it kicks it out the playlist here, so you can see 9 and number 10. It shows offline here, and you can see it's missing here. Missing at the very bottom, sorry. So let's not worry about that. We just want to run the playlist again to check and see the other issue of the PowerPoint starting midway through or at the end. So we're going to down arrow through all of this and get to a PowerPoint. So that started at slide 1. Interesting. Started at slide 1. I wonder if it's because I'm in playlist. I'm trying to replicate some of the issues that we had. No, so maybe because it's in playlist, it's automatically set. Manual mode, begin from selected items. No, not sure why. It's not having the same error as on Sunday unless you were quick playing. So for instance, we're on the Lord's Prayer, number 8. Well, we've labeled it number 8 so we know what order. And then I'm going to go to the reading here and quick play the reading. that started from 1. But if I go and leave it on 3 there and go to my final prayer, quick play that. Interesting. The final prayer on quick play has started on slide 3. And then if I go back to the offertory prayer, oh no, it was the reading. That was left on slide 3. So I think it's when you use quick play rather than. So if we just stop that and go, it's the reading. We're going to begin from selected item and click start. And that started from number 1. So we can right arrow through. That's interesting. So it works best if you use the playlist mode and just use the arrow keys. Everything else is 1, yeah. So it must be to do with. Yeah, and we've got our goodbye offline. So we've gone, we've made it quick play, but it's not loaded, so it's got a black screen. Let's reset that. Oh, look at that. Great. But it just isn't in the playlist because it's glitching. So there's no point saving this. I'll close that. Are you sure you want to close vMix? Yes. So that's it for some of the how to open and run a service. I'll do another video on how to create a service. Thanks for watching. Bye.